Gas prices are still on the rise. For some people seeking ways to cut down the gas expenses, public transit is becoming a popular alternative. NTD's Adelina Soltani finds out just how much you can save by taking public transit compared to driving.
As some gas prices hit a high of nearly $7 per gallon in the California Bay Area, some locals are looking for cheaper alternatives. Caltrain, a local public transit agency, jokingly suggested an innovative idea in a Twitter post. BART, like Caltrain, welcomes more people to choose public transportation as a cheaper alternative to driving.
Well, we're not happy that prices are going up for people who are putting gasoline in their cars, but we are happy to welcome them to BART should they want to use public transportation and save money and save the environment at the same time.
Allison said BART is working hard on upgrading its train stations.
We rebuilt them, made them safer, more welcoming, and more clean.
Today we are at Berryessa, North San Jose, last station on the BART train here in San Jose. You take the train from here all the way 1 hour to Embarcadero, San Francisco. That is only $5. It's half the price and half the time if you were to drive your car.
Allison added that BART fares have remained the same over the past 2 years.
Now that people are paying so much money at the gas pump, we haven't had a price increase since January of 2020.
Taking public transportation can cost half the price while avoiding notorious Bay Area traffic. Some Bay Area residents are riding BART for the first time.
I need to go to San Francisco to do a small job, and because of the gas prices, I'm not taking my car right now. So I thought about taking alternate transportation.
Locals say time spent on the road is a major factor in deciding on whether to take public transit.
A gallon of gas is not something I even wanted to think about, so that's another reason actually. But the time was the main factor. But gas is getting up there, so I think I'll be on BART for a while. I don't want to spend, $90 a tank.
Emily Hodges, a South Bay resident, says she travels to Berkeley once a week, but no longer drives because
I drove a couple times and it was a pain. There was a lot of traffic and parking is hard to find. So this was just more convenient.
Hodges added that she enjoys the train ride.
It's nice, it's relaxing, and you don't have to drive.
BART sees approximately 432,000 trips on weekdays and 126 million trips annually. During peak commute hours, nearly 25,000 people ride through the Transbay Tube into downtown San Francisco.
Adelina Soltani, NTD News, California.
Most people think of crops if they hear about genetically modified organisms, but there is a totally new kind that may be coming to California. Mosquitoes, millions of them, and it's in an effort to lower the numbers of their disease-causing counterparts. But not everyone is on board.
The Environmental Protection Agency approved a plan to release millions of genetically modified mosquitoes into both Florida and California on Tuesday. According to Oxitec, the biotech company spearheading the program, the goal is to decrease the number of naturally born mosquitoes that are also disease vectors. Oxitec, a UK-based firm funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, has planned to partner with the Delta Mosquito and Vector Control District in Tulare County. The species of mosquito involved is Aedes aegypti, an invasive species. The species is colloquially known as the yellow fever mosquito and can be found throughout the entire state. They can also spread dengue fever, Zika virus, and several other diseases. Oxitec have modified male mosquito genes to produce offspring that never survive to maturity. Male mosquitoes do not suck blood while females do. J.D. Hansen, policy director for the Center for Food Safety, said, "The experiment is unnecessary and even dangerous." He said, "California has no locally acquired cases of the diseases the mosquitoes transmit." Hansen added, "Releasing billions of GE mosquitoes makes it likely that female GE mosquitoes will get out and create hybrid mosquitoes that are more virulent and aggressive." Oxitec's program began in Florida last year, releasing millions into the state. Whether the California program starts now depends on regulators' decisions. Daniel Hall, NTD News, California.
San Francisco dropped more of its vax mandates. According to the city and county website, San Francisco will no longer require proof of receiving jabs or a negative test to enter certain indoor public settings. Those settings include indoor restaurants, bars, gyms, and fitness studios. But businesses can make decisions on their own. Earlier requirements are still in place for indoor mega events of 1,000 or more people. Last week, Shasta County sworn in a new supervisor following a lengthy recall effort that unseated a former county supervisor. Locals say the official did not represent their voices on county issues. NTD's Cynthia Kai spoke with some locals to hear more about why they recalled a Republican in a highly conservative area.
Nearly 2 years ago, a group of parents, business owners, medical workers, and teachers launched a recall effort to replace District 2 Supervisor Leonard Modi. The group, called Recall Shasta, says they want someone who can better represent their voices on county issues such as COVID-19 mask and jab mandates, homelessness, among other policies.
Our founders constantly, and our past presidents constantly speak to the duty being the people's to, to restrain their government from benefiting themselves.
She urges people to be more engaged with their government and to hold them accountable.
We've had it so good for so long economically, in particular economically, that the people let the government take the reins. And what we've seen is that allows for corruption, and it's dangerous.
Recall Shasta petitioned and gathered signatures amidst the smoky 2021 fire season.
A lot of older people, younger people, we've all come together through this one issue of liberty and freedom.
The Shasta County Clerk certified election results on February 17th. About 56% of votes were in favor of recalling Modi, and Tim Garman won the seat with 38% of votes. Modi is a retired police chief and self-described Republican. He told CNN,
"It's very disheartening to me to have a group be able to spend that much money to personally assault my reputation that I worked for 44 years to build in my hometown."
He also told The Guardian that he is done with politics, but plans to stay in Shasta County for now. Modi did not respond to NTD's requests for an interview. However, Tim Garman, the newly elected District 2 supervisor, like the other locals we talked to, said they wish to see increased accountability, transparency, and representation from elected officials.
I think we are tired of lack of representation to the people. We are all, myself included, I was just frustrated that our county supervisor was not working for us. And I think people in general across our country are to the point where they're frustrated with that and they want their government back.
Patrick Jones, the current District 4 supervisor, said he saw the public was held outside and unable to take part in public board meetings, something he did not agree with.
And so I decided to open up the boardroom on my own accord and let the public come in. And I did that. And we've been open to the public ever since.
Similarly, many Shasta County residents also pointed to the board meetings as a tipping point. Locals described the recall as a course correction in their view. They described Shasta County as a highly conservative area that is both family and tradition oriented.
We live in a constitutional republic, which means that you are elected to represent your constituents and you do what your constituents want. If your constituents are conservative, they elect conservative representation. If they're liberal, they elect a liberal representation.
NTD spoke to 10 interviewees who all expressed they may not have the power to make changes on the federal or state level, but they believe they can start with local changes. These Shasta County locals say they believe the recall results were a step in the right direction. Moving forward, they hope the momentum continues in order to protect people's constitutional rights and the county's values. Reporting in Shasta County, Cynthia Kai, NTD News.
Anyone inheriting property in California may receive a shocking tax bill 1 year after the fact. One executive from a taxpayers association explains the new inheritance tax and its consequences.
In February 2021, Proposition 19, also known as the Property Tax Transfers, Exemptions, and Revenue for Wildfire Agencies and Counties Amendment, went into effect in California. As a result, those who inherit property have 1 year to make it their primary residence. Otherwise, it will be reassessed at market value, which leads to a significant tax increase.
When the parents die, the kids get a new tax bill in the mail with the sympathy cards. It's horrible.
Susan Shelley, Vice President of Communications for the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, told California insider Siamak Horami that the purpose was to generate more sales by making the market turn over more often.
But here's something that people don't realize about Proposition 19. Affordable housing in California will be wiped out in a generation because all of these older apartment buildings that are family-owned, the mom-and-pop landlords, when they pass away and the kids inherit those 4-unit, 6-unit, 10-unit buildings, duplexes, they will be reassessed to market value.
Shelley said if those units and buildings are rented, the new owners will have to increase rent for tenants or sell that building because they wouldn't be able to pay those taxes.
And they're not going to be able to raise the rent because of rent control, and the tenants will end up evicted and the building will end up sold. And you do that across the whole state of California for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you're going to wipe out all that older affordable housing stock. And that is a disaster. That helps no one.
The proposition also allocates additional revenue or net savings to wildfire agencies and counties.
Firefighting is a state priority, or should be. It should be funded from the general fund before they fund anything else. That's extremely important. It should not be funded through trickery and gimmicks on the backs of people who have just lost a parent. That's just wrong.
The California Association of Realtors backed Prop 19 with about $50 million. Shelley and the Taxpayers Association have been trying to educate the public and voters to defeat Proposition 19 and 15. Prop 15 would have forced reassessment of all commercial property in the state to market value, which would hurt businesses. They hope to revert the law back to allow the property transfer without reassessment. They need to collect 1 million signatures by mid-April.
For anyone who doesn't like creepy crawlies, the next piece may not be for you. That's because the Border Patrol caught the man smuggling reptiles. 52 of them, all in his clothing.
From the U.S. Custom and Border Protection, or CBP, caught the man and the reptiles at the San Ysidro port of entry, according to a Tuesday announcement. The 30-year-old man, a U.S. citizen, was caught around 3 a.m. on February 25th. Border Patrol found 52 bagged-up reptiles identified as 43 horned lizards and 9 snakes. The man concealed them in his jacket, pants pockets, and other areas. CBP seized the reptiles along with his vehicle. The reptiles are now secure, safe, and quarantined due to some species being endangered, according to the announcement. The seizure was a coordinated effort by Homeland Security Investigations San Diego, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and Customs and Border Protection.